Well, I am pleasantly surprised. Who would have thunk? My name's Sebastian, this is Vision Denial and the Road to MSI, where I watch all 12 regions playoff series. All of them, yes, even that one. And today we've got Red Canids versus Vorax. It's technically Red Canids Kalunga. I don't know what the Kalunga is about, but you know. Cool. The series ended 3-1 for Vorax, who so far shows to be the most stable and consistent team out of the entirety of Brazil. That being said, I don't think they'll have an easy time against Pain. Let's get into it. Some of the cool things. I'm happy to see that there are no repetitions amongst all of the games. Good. The vision that both teams apply, fairly solid overall. I could do with a little bit more vision denial on the side of red. That's consistent, and the vision itself that Vorax brings up is not always efficient. It tends to be a lot of substance and not a lot of good, for lack of a better term. I think that Vorax is very good at setting up tempo control and upping the tempo. Unfortunately, this does not match the gold lead, as they are not very efficient at ballooning. And Red Canids is very good at absorbing the pressure, but also this doesn't lead to very too many places, as they don't punish as much as they should have. A couple of things that I do like, however, is that Vorax actually understands their win conditions. Solid stuff. They go for them on a regular basis, and they recognize that Red Canids doesn't. A lot of the times it looks like Red Canids is just playing autopilot, regardless of the composition, and I think this is just a holdover from last year where everybody was doing that, and it doesn't look good. Let's see here. On to the bad. I think VRX has an issue, compositionally speaking, about the way they approach pick and bans. Not that there's anything specifically bad, but there's a clear sore spot for them. And this is part of where they're going to have a hard time in the finals for them. And that is their top laner, FNB, who had a very good game 4, but game 1 through 3 was pretty dismal. And usually I wouldn't put so much precedence on an individual player. The issue, however, is that even while ahead, FNB was losing trades, was not putting up enough pressure in the top side, felt virtually non-existent. And the only time there was a presence known from FNB is when an initiator was given to him. And to be frank, that might be a consequence of just the champions he was given, but most of the time when any other top laner of caliber is given a Renekton, you can feel the presence of the champion up until the 38-minute mark, where it starts dropping down in value. And it's really unfortunate because they have some creative draft decisions that allow them to pick some cool stuff. They got a Misfortune game on the first game, and I thought that was nice, that was cool, it was clever. But it was quickly called out by Red, who recognized it on game 3, when they banned out all the junglers and forced Vorax to pick up the Renekton for FNB for the 3rd game in a row, and just kept pinching away at junglers. And it made it very hard for them to play because they put so much priority on making sure that the top laner for themselves was well set, that they just threw caution to the wind. So like easy peasy, right? You just pinch out as much junglers as you can, first pick it, make it very hard for Vorax to like go through any type of composition and make sure that no matter what, your top laner has a winning composition, because even if your top laner had a losing composition, likely, or a losing matchup, likely FNB would have a hard time. Now, I don't want to say that this is 100% like a certain fact, but from the way that this was played out, it would not surprise me if that becomes a sticking point for Vorax when they face off against Pain Gaming. Now, if it isn't, then I have another issue, and I mentioned it earlier. They may have a solid sense of how to up the tempo and keep up the tempo, but they're not ballooning leads properly, or at all really, and you find yourself with them making a lot of mistakes that tend to halt the tempo itself. Like, they'll keep up the tempo over and over and over again, but all of a sudden they throw away or they overcommit onto an engage and they have to reset, and then it just gives more time and gold, and so you're not ballooning. And it doesn't help that the way that these two teams approach neutrals are abysmal. Red Canids is much better at it. To be frank, I think that was the one shining spot they had, is that regularly they had most of the neutral objectives secured. But I wouldn't be remiss to say that if Vorax does make it through, which I'm leaning towards them possibly winning because they're much cleaner than Pain Gaming, they have a lot more sense of direction, they have a better sense of their win conditions and how to establish vision in a way that like they can get information even if it's not always efficient. But and also Vorax is on the better end of the teams that can close out games. Like, they've used the least amount of Barons out of all of the teams to finish off games on average so far, at least in Brazil. So the fact that there's a fairly weak top laner, comparatively speaking, and the fact that their neutral objective play is really lacking, makes it feel as if they're going to have a hard time, if they do make it internationally to MSI, they're going to have a hard time against any of the other teams. Like, just any of them. And that's the unfortunate side effect of this, is that 4 out of 5 of these players show very solid skill expression. Like, they have like a very good grasp of their roles. They're very coordinated. All 5 of them are very coordinated as a team. But there's one spot makes them vulnerable to to pick and ban situations that have them lose out in the long term, and in terms of the late game and early game of the of any particular match, and makes it easy for them to be exploited through like dragons and barons, which is really unfortunate because I kind of dig their playstyle. I'm not gonna lie. Even if FNB was not like the greatest and it was like a sore point in their composition, the 5 of them together coordinate really well. They have a good sense of how to do flanking in a way that doesn't like leave themselves exposed. They understand that the other teams don't know how to play that. I don't know if that's going to work well internationally necessarily, but they have like a good understanding of how to play around these teams and how to like set up to punish or to close out games or to move the game forward without necessarily depending on neutrals. And that's good. I like that. I just think it's unfortunate that their neutral objective setups are just piss poor. And any other team who can do that Vorax is capable of and is able to set up for neutral objectives is just gonna wreck them. Just unfortunate. So it's either Pain is gonna squeak out like a very difficult win, or Vorax will win and FNB has a really good day. But like, if they do make it to international, I don't expect them to do very well unless they clean up their neutrals. That's pretty much it. So I want to see them clean up their neutrals. If they show a better neutral objective play, then they have a chance to compete against some of the tier 3 teams. I'm not going to lie. This is pretty good stuff. I was pleasantly surprised. Color me pleasantly surprised. I can't speak for some reason. Like, good job. Red Canids, on the other hand, you guys don't know your win conditions. Sucks. You have a good sense of pick and ban, though. Good job. Really, it was mildly impressed there as well. But, you know, maybe in the summer you can do better? We'll see. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Up next, we're going to North America with, I believe it's TSM versus 100 Thieves. Yes, and then we're done with the April 4th games. And then we're going to go off from there and see what's up, because we still got quite a ways away. And today is where a bunch of the regions are finishing their playoff series. Like, I think every region by the end of the day, should be done. So we got to catch up. Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.